It's a cold, wet November in Scotland. I am absolutely choked with it. I'm sitting here sipping my free ginger tea, and Pete is very kindly giving me this to review. A cafe racer in November, the Yamaha XSR 900. Rivals for this bike. It's a lot of bike for the money, very good value for money. It's a beautifully finished thing. It looks well in this kind of JPS aping black and gold color scheme. Probably the Thruxton R, which I've not ridden yet, and hopefully I'll be riding in the spring stroke summertime and find out what it's about. That might be its most direct rival, but this is sub £10,000. Maybe the BMW R9T, but you're going to be paying an extra £3,000 to get off this bike onto that one. So what does it offer for the money? The XSR 900 is the suave, sophisticated, suit-wearing cousin of the MT-09. Almost Italian, and that theme's kind of carried through. At the front here, we've got 43mm Yamaha upside-down forks. We've got a 17-inch cast road wheel, which if you squint, which I don't have to struggle with today, I'm already squinting, almost looks like a Marcassini, almost. We've got radial calipers. These are Yamaha's own 4-pot radial monoblocks, and as I said, radially mounted. We've got a 298mm disc on each side, so there's plenty of braking and suspension power here. We've got some nice little touches. This milled aluminium bracket is lovely. The clocks and the clock brackets, all very beautiful. It's kind of an exercise in styling, and that's either going to hold up and draw you in and you're going to want this bike because of the way it looks, or it's going to turn you off and you'll save some money and just go MT-09. These are Battle Axe S20s, and these are running 120/70/17. This bike is all about the styling, and these touches here, like this cast aluminium bracket, and up into the aluminium side brackets for the headlight, the big round classical looking light, this kind of circular speedo thing. These are the things that are going to grab you and make you want this bike, or they're going to turn you off and you're going to save money and go for the MT-09. We've got a tried and tested, very elegant looking aluminium die cast frame, and that's housing this, the quintessential inline 12 valve 847cc liquid cooled triple. This is a 116 horsepower engine with 64.5 foot-pounds of torque. It's a relatively accessible 830mm seat height with a 14-litre tank here, which is good for 140-mile range, and this bike is capable of 150 miles an hour. Again, following the styling line back, we've got these lovely aluminium seat brackets and this very natty, round, distinctive rear light. Coming down here, this is all taken care of by a fairly conventional double-sided swing arm. It's a single shock in there, adjustable for preload and rebound. And then we've got at the back end a 245mm disc, little Nissan rear caliper, and a 180/55/17 again on that lovely looking gold, almost Marcassini wheel. It's 195 kilos. I'm 95 kilos, so that's 290 kilos of black, shiny, slightly grumpy unwellness that's going to go out there and see what today has in store. Sometimes we get lazy as human beings. Sometimes days come along to change your perspective and just kind of remind you what life is about. And in some sense, they reconnect you to the world around you. And that's what today is about for me. It was horrible weather this morning, absolutely horrible. It was lashing down. It's freezing cold, it's November, the roads are wet, they're covered in diesel, they're covered in leaves. And when I went to the lockup to see what this week's review was, there was a lovely big juicy GS Adventure triple black TE sitting in the corner with a couple of thousand miles on it, all the boxes, just singing away to itself. It's a bike I absolutely love. Like an old pair of slippers. You just can't go wrong. They fit you. They fit you absolutely perfectly. And because of that, as soon as you get in the house, you reach for them and you put them on and you feel like you're at home. That's what the GS Adventure is for me. I think that's why he hasn't allowed me to review it yet. Probably just because it would be boring. For his point of view. I'd be going on about it, about how good it is. I'm going on about it now. And it's not the point. This bike here is the XSR 900. But we're talking about perspective. So I looked at this and thought, okay, well, I've drawn the short straw. I'm just going to have to deal with it and get on with it. The only thing I knew about it was its reputation for a snappy throttle, the MT-09, and of course the tractability of the triple. And when you're not feeling well, excuse me, as I'm not today, then those things are not appealing. However, I've done a complete about face. Right from the outset, the riding position feels really comfortable. There's no weight on your wrists. You're kind of upright, but still lean slightly forwards over the front wheel, so you can feel what's happening, but there's just no weight on your wrists at all. It's superb. The riding position is very well balanced. The wheelbase is a comfortable length. It doesn't feel too short. It doesn't feel like I'm sitting over the front like that as you do on a KTM. I'm sitting back in the bike, and from that point of view, you can really get on top of it. I know that sounds a little bit out there, but if you ride, you'll know what I'm talking about. Some bikes are kind of pulling you along and you're holding on, and some bikes you can really get on top of. This, absolutely out of the box, is a bike for bombing around on, and I've not done that for a while. I ride bikes, love bikes, I'm around bikes, but when was the last time you picked the keys up to something that you could just bomb around on? And that's a good feeling. So it looks absolutely great. Some people may not think so, and I can understand how it might divide opinion, but I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And some of the colour schemes, the black and the yellow, the black and the gold, it just sets it off. They're colours from the past brought right up to date in the here and now. So I'm just bombing around, and the weather's changed and my mood's changed. I've gone from grumpy to gleeful. That's what bombing around does to you. It cheers you up. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. You can just bomb around and see stuff. Bomb around and go places. Go and have a cup of coffee. Go and have a slice of pizza. Go and eat an ice cream. Just bomb around the place, seeing people. Look, there's a dog. I wouldn't have seen that dog. Oh, there's two of them. If I wasn't bombing around. But I am bombing around. So I'm seeing people, dogs, trees, birds. I'm not delirious. It's not just the cold talking. There's a genuine sense of enjoyment comes off of this. So it's good to look at, which makes you feel good. It was worth the money. And it's not even a huge amount of money for what it is. It's kind of in a budget bike category, which seems wrong for something that's really, really nicely put together. I'm still not a huge fan of bar end mirrors. I've not yet found a set that actually work until today. Today, I'm looking in the bar end mirrors, and I'd already decided in the studio that bar end mirrors are for people who don't want to see what's behind them. And it's proved me wrong. I can see perfectly. I can read the registration, NY51 DTV. It's following me. It's a Peugeot van, and it's right behind me. Bar end mirrors that work. It's a revelation. And that theme kind of continues through. The circular steering wheel dash, kind of complicated, slightly Starship Enterprise thing. It works. Everything's on there and it works. There's a small button on the right hand side. You push it in, it says mode, and if you press it, even while you're riding, it changes the mode. Or does it? Maybe it doesn't do it while you're riding. No, don't think it does. Okay, well, I take that bit back. But apart from that bit, when you're stopped, it's simple. The traction control is here. You can change the levels of traction. TCS, it's just there. It's marked, it's clear, you're not going into a menu, you're not trying to find a sub-menu within a menu that points to a menu. It's just there, there's the button, press the button, change it to what you want, and bomb about some more. So on the subject of working, the indicators work, they're easy to cancel. There's a good riding position. The controls are good. Nicely weighted. The handling is super. Even on a day like today where everything is against you, you just feel reasonably confident on it. I'm not going to chuck it on its side because that would be stupid. But it feels like it's going to respond well to your inputs. Nice wide flat bars. They're speaking to you. I'm not hunched over like that guy. He's hunched over. 20 years time, he'll look like something out of Notre Dame. Of course he can go quicker than me, but I'm bombing about. You know, today started off as a bad day. I got out of bed, my nose was streaming, my head was full of snot. Where the hell does snot come from? And I was not in a good mood. And the last thing I wanted to do was take out in the pouring rain some sort of twitchy throttled, triple engined, 120 horsepower, naked cafe racer. The whole thing made no sense at all. But it's turned my head completely. And reminds me why we motorcycle. You would think the way something looks doesn't make a big difference, but actually it makes a huge difference. How something looks relates to how you feel about it, relates to how you respond to it, and the standard MT-09 doesn't do a lot for me. But I have to say, this thing's really grown on me a lot. So much so, instead of just taking it out in a review, taking it back, getting the review done, I've come down here, I've gone out, I've extended my boundaries, I've come down to the seaside, which I haven't been to for a long time. We're in Portobello. It's a hip bike. It makes you want to do hip things. We're here at Severino's Slices. I've never had a Severino slice in my life. It's massive. This is just not what pizza was in my day. And this is not what motorbikes were in my day, and I like it. You know, I don't think you're ever too old to be a hipster. I'm maybe even going to grow the beard and just embrace this whole thing. Promenades, pizzas, facial hair, retro bikes. I'm all over this. I'm having a good day. The whole thing's turned around. I mean, you need a piece of this. 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 Life's good. I don't really want to go home. I've kind of got to. It's getting dark, sun's going down. Pete will wonder where his motorbike is. I probably spent more time out in this review than I ever thought I would. I thought it was going to be a quickie and back to base. Not at all. like a child watching telly at 10 o'clock. 5 more minutes! Can I just have 5 more minutes? Well, that's it. As the day closes, so does this review.
Yep.
You know, I've had a really cracking day today. This has been totally unexpected. It's difficult to quantify because I put £100 worth of diesel in my truck last night. I've got a double cab pickup. It's utilitarian, it does the job. £100 to fill it with fuel. I had to fill up that XSR this morning. It cost me £12. And at that point I thought, there's still something to motorcycling. You forget, this is a very viable everyday thing. You can still do this. Some people have to do this. For me it's more of a luxury, and I'm lucky. I'm lucky. And for anyone who's doing this day in, day out because they've got no choice, I have to say fair play to you. But sometimes when you've got the luxury of these things, you don't actually do them. It's too much effort, it's too much work to put your kit on, and it's raining. And you know, 4 or 5 hours down the line it's not raining. It's sunny. At the beach, I've had pizza, I've had an ice cream. It cost me 12 quid's worth of fuel. The insurance is low. The bike's fantastic. People are looking at it. I'm looking at it. I almost want one. If I hadn't gone mental with the bloody pizza, this would have been a cheap day out. It's turned out to be an expensive day out, but hopefully Pete will pay. So if you liked or licked what you saw this week, then like it, and of course, subscribe.